independent trade union advisor, the former international director of GMB Trade Union, and the former leader of Freedom for Ocalan Campaign, Bert Schouwenburg. Thanks for joining us today.
It's a pleasure to be with you, Erem.
Thank you. So let's start with, how do you view the condition of Kurdish leader Öcalan is held? What is Turkish state aiming by isolating Mr. Öcalan?
Well, the isolation and imprisonment in virtual solitary confinement of Öcalan continues to be, well, disgrace is the only word to describe it. He's been denied access to his lawyers. He's been denied access to his friends. So very few people know how well he is or how much he's suffering on the island. He's been there, as we know, since the 70s, and I think under many definitions, the treatment he's had to endure is tantamount to a form of torture, and as such, of course, is completely unacceptable.
Secondly, during the peace negotiations between, as you know, you witnessed that period of time as well, the Kurdish movement and Turkish state, talks were held together with Öcalan on İmralı Island. What do you think is the importance of Öcalan for peaceful resolution of the Kurdish question?
Well, I think, I've been on record, as many people have before, as saying that Öcalan is key to any peaceful solution to what we refer to as the Kurdish question, and to peace in the wider Middle East. He's come up with a number of proposals, and I think we're going to talk a little bit later about his writings. And perversely, I think that's one of the reasons that the Turks want to keep him, the Turks in general, I should say, the Turkish president, Erdogan, wants to keep him under lock and key because his ideas, so constructive, are indeed a threat to the agenda that Erdogan himself wants to pursue. I think as he sees himself as the self-proclaimed leader of some neo-Ottoman empire, if we can put it that way. So I think Öcalan is a threat to Erdogan as he would perceive it.
What do you think about Öcalan's ideas and his commitment to the peace in the region? As you follow up, you have read his writings as well. So how do you think he is committing to the peace in the region in general perspective?
Well, I don't pretend to be any expert on Öcalan's writings. I've read some of them, and I've read summaries of others. And it's very interesting to see the ways his ideas have developed since the early days when he advocated what we could almost describe as a military solution. I think he's long since realised that is not possible. But the ideas that he now puts forward for a peaceful settlement in the Middle East, and you can see from his time in jail, his confinement, that he's absorbed ideas from a number of sources. And I think one of the most important things that he has said and what he's developed is he doesn't necessarily see a solution to the Kurdish question in terms of some sort of independent Kurdish state. He sees it as being that Kurdish communities could live within the parameters of the political map as it's drawn at the moment. And I think that's very important, and it shows that there is a solution for the Kurdish question, and that solution could and should be acceptable to the various states where the Kurdistan people live.
So let's finish with the campaign that you have been a part of it for a long time now. Since Öcalan imprisonment, there has been that global campaign for freedom for Öcalan. What do you think about this campaign and its importance for achieving peace in the region?
Well, I maintain that this campaign is more important than ever. Ocalan has been described as being the Kurdish Mandela, and that's no exaggeration. And what he's been through an awful lot, and we should not be denied this man's experience, his knowledge, and it's absolutely essential that the international campaign is successful to have him freed, so he can play a meaningful part in progressing the agenda of the Kurdish people and indeed other peoples in the wider Middle East. I was very struck by something that the Peace in Kurdistan campaign said, and it's almost, I think, an echo of Pastor Niemoller said the famous quote that if we don't protect the Jewish people, if we don't protect other people, eventually they'll come for us. What's happening to Öcalan is a lesson for all of us, because if we don't protect people like Öcalan, the visionaries, and if we don't stop the repression from people like Erdogan and the Turkish state, eventually it could happen to any of us that fight for peace, for freedom and democracy. And therefore it's absolutely essential that we continue on an international basis to fight for freedom for Öcalan and by implication freedom for the wider people of the Middle East.
Independent trade union advisor, the former international director of GMB trade union, and the former leader of Freedom for Ocalan Campaign, Bert Schouwenburg. Thanks for joining us. Thank you for your valuable comments today.
An absolute pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.